I remember the sky ignited from the blaze of burning hive cities, and through the rising canopies of smoke rained artillery salvos. I was then at least 3 Terran cycles when the Emperor besieged the towering arcology fortresses of the Yiddenese bloc, and I was to be called by order of the Ethnarch. Why I still lived was only because my mother and father loved me, hiding me away in the labyrinth of a hive city, rather than butchering me for my inferior genetics. Alas, one day, my mother did not return, and as the master of mankind's armies assailed our home, a zealot of Cardinal Tang followed my father back. Even as the world was being destroyed around us, this zealot held nothing but rage, and upon meeting my eyes, he unleashed a tirade of curses and lunged. My father intervened, and he died. Yet, as the zealot stabbed into my father on the ground and sadistically tore out his organs and bones, I grabbed something, anything, something sharp, and I plunged it through the zealot's throat. Everything was over in moments. The 2 corpses bled there to the sounds of screams and thunder, and past the tears and blood on my face did I see a golden giant. "You will do," he said, and so I did. My transformation was meticulous, but then I stood as one of the Emperor's 10,000, a Hakanatoi of his Sentinel Guard. No sooner than when the Great Crusade ended, and no later than when the Horus Heresy began. We of the Sentinel Guard breached through the Wetway portal with the rest of the 10,000, and for 5 long Terran cycles we would fight. For every meter gained, every step taken. As one of the Sentinel Guard, I made up the bulwark of our defenses, holding where needed and protecting the contingents of armored thralls and Sisters of Silence. The demons, the wiser ones, flung themselves directly towards these contingents. There were but a few moments where my blade paused and my shield did not reverberate from the attacks of the demons. We eventually took hold of Callister, the Eldari structure within the Webway, and then the real fight began. We held, I moved, I fought. By the end, with barely any of my armor clasping to my body, the Emperor arrived, and at last we went forth, slaughtering all who dare assailed us. The 10,000 had been reduced to a little over a mere 1,000 by the time we stepped out of the Webway, and the condition I was in was unfit. I had survived, but I wish I had not. Not when my comrades had perished, and not in such a condition so beaten that I was relegated to defending the Sanctum Imperialis, denied to join the Emperor when he and his cohorts teleported onto the Vengeful Spirit to slay the War Master. Perhaps I could have done something, anything, to have saved the Master of Mankind from his fate. When Rogel Dorn and Valdor returned, we beheld the sight of the mortally wounded Emperor, and I broke. I had failed to protect him. I could not protect him. They placed him upon the Golden Throne, and once at last when we were afforded a moment of respite, I excused my tear-stricken self to privacy. I discarded what remained of my armor, whatever good it did for me, and I warned. We had failed. I had failed.